$1.5 million problem. COVID started, and it started the problem for many nursing homes, so, that's very offensive to say something like that, but.
When did they start, Mr. Hadley? They started after COVID.
But
Started
we
in
had,
2023, my friend.
but we had the problem,
2022, actually.
we had the problem before they came on.
Okay, guys.
We were in debt before they came on.
All right.
Let me have, whoa. The hell with all this. I would say this, that I did have concerns that how come we only got received one RFQ. I was concerned about that. Secondly, to me, myself, and just personally, I think that it'd be a bad mistake to get back into the CCNM. They left, now they want back. I think it'd be a bad mistake to get in there, even though it sounds good, but I think it'd be a bad move for us. Overall, with the proposals that have been presented, it sound good. But at the same time, too, I got a lot of confidence in what we got now. Listening to him and what he's saying about the matrix, what they're doing, he's confident with that. Even though it's like you said, we've been struggling with this for so long, and it's very, very, very shaky. I mean, so therefore, I'm not gonna be in support of this proposal that's here. I just think that we just have to continue on putting our trust in who we got at the administrator now, and with the major companies. I've said it numerous times, this is nothing new. I just think eventually we'll come out of this. I just really believe that. I mean, we might not. I don't, but that's just where I'm standing at. And so that's all I have to say about that.
Sharon?
Mr. Hadley, could you restate your motion?
My motion is to lay over the proposal in front of us for Serenity Estates till next month, so we can put on the agenda the proposal from TCM and review that.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor? Please say aye. Opposed?
No.
I want to be put on record that I supported this, please.
All right, so now back to the original motion on the floor, approval of the bid for purchase for Stephenson Nursing Center and Walnut Acre.
I move to approve the bid for the purchase of the Stephenson Nursing Center as presented.
So we have a second. Second. All right, any discussion?
Listen, the committee has questions. I have a few. I'd like to pose to them if I could. Personnel and residents, what are your plans for the existing residents that are there long-term, not just the first year, second year, of course, as their health?
As I spoke to, we would keep every bed duly certified for Medicare and Medicaid. We don't want to take any bed offline. So the residents in-house, we would welcome any resident to continue to stay. We would welcome all staff to continue to stay, and we hope that they do. We want to grow off of, there are successes here. There are some major things that need help, right? Or we wouldn't be here. But we want to grow off the successes. So we would like the residents to stay. We welcome them to stay. We want to be long-term and short-term skilled. It's not one or the other. And we'd like all the staff members to stay as well.
I'm assuming you know what our payer mix currently is. Yeah. What is ideal for your organization payer mix?
This building will look like rural communities are successful with a large long-term care population. So 100+ individuals were there long-term and a short mix of skilled patients.
So Medicare, Medicaid.
Correct. Yeah. So Medicaid, private pay, private insurances, VA long-term, that's what I mean when I'm speaking of long-term care. So individuals who need to be here to live, to be successful in their lives long-term, we would like residents of 100+ at that facility. And then again, a little mix of skilled rehab. Individuals who are from the area who need rehab, maybe they had a hospital stay before they need to go home. that is that mix that I talked about, Medicare, managed Medicare such as Humana, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna.
As far as the personnel is concerned, what would your process be if you took over? Do you have people reapply? Do you interview them?
They are all
What is-
hired with Serenity Estates immediately. We, like I spoke about, we have a budget and we strictly adhere to budgets to make sure that buildings are financially stable. So we would review to make sure that there was not one overstaffed department. And if there is, we've worked very quickly to maybe find another role, or to keep those staff members with the intention of, increasing census at a quicker rate.
As far as the VA contract is concerned, if we were to have a VA contract in place currently with the county, what would that process look like to you if you became owners of the home?
So we have individuals who are contract specialists and that's all they do for us. So they receive contracts such as VA. They would have to convert all of your current contracts over to Serenity Estates. Some are easier than others. VA would be a little bit more difficult. You are correct in the sense of if you were going to sell this community, you would not want to pursue a VA right now. It would just be a little bit of a waste of time. It would be better to wait and for us to make a fresh proposal with VA. But we were able to push those through very quickly. VA has different proponents for nursing home care. They have a short-term contract. They have a long-term contract. It's easier to get the long-term contract through. And we have connections with our contract specialists who are able to do that.
If you had to ballpark how long it would take to get a VA contract in place once you assumed
It'd take
ownership?
like 3 months. It could take like a 90-day turnaround.
Vendors.
Mhm.
What is your intent with vendors? Obviously, you probably don't know what vendors we have or don't have.
No, so we would get a vendor list. We would ask the administrator and the staff there if they liked the vendors currently. We would check to see any outstanding liability. And then we would just work through to make sure that we got the best price and the best care for the residents.
So current food service vendor is past due about 240,000, I believe. Threats of termination,
Sure.
lawsuits, things of that nature.
So John spoke that very briefly that we've also consulted across the country on homes that have been financially not well off. And so we've walked into several instances where there's a huge outstanding bill that we need to take care of. What we do is we call a vendor and we try to engage a payment plan while continuing services. And if they are agreeing, then we stay with it. And if not, then we find a new vendor and we have to move on.
In your LOI, it says 30 days to close. If at the end of that 30 days, would the county be paid in full?
Yeah.
The proposed price?
We have a cash offer on the table that we would be able to pay within a 30-day close. We'd also, we could of course put a deposit down and before, of course, the date close.
What about the IDH approval process? How familiar are you with that?
Very familiar. John used to work with the state, he was a state employee.
To my understanding, it's a 6 to 9 month process. Is that correct or is that not accurate?
No, it just depends. We would call our contacts immediately and let them know the situation so that we can get a quick approval. And then we try to push everything else through. To get a license, it could take up to a year, but that's different. We would get a probationary license first, and that could come very quickly.
Well, once you receive that probationary license, is the county, for lack of a better term, off the hook? As far as you're owning it, operating it,
So we could have an OTA with the county.
which
that-
means what?
a operating agreement with the county that we would take that off of you day one,
The liability.
correct?
You also have intent to enter definitive agreement within 2 weeks of LOI. I don't know that that is possible on our end because of approval process. It would look more like 60 days. Is that an issue for your company? Do you have any relationship with private equity at all?
No, we have, are you speaking about momentum? Is that? No,
In public comment, there was something about a real estate firm attached?
We
to the
are backed
organization?
our financial backer is Momentum, but they do not own Serenity Estates.
Okay, so are you a C corp, an S corp?
We're an LLC. We're,
LLC.
yeah, a partnership between John and I, 50/50, so.
Long-term plans for this home.
We want to thrive as a long-term care with a short skilled mix.
So do you have a history of buying buildings, turning around, correcting them and selling them?
Serenity Estates is not, that's why we opened Serenity Estates. We want to own these homes long-term. We're looking at rural communities because we see a large need, underserviced need in rural communities.
So,
So no, we do not look to purchase this home, flip it and turn it around. If you sold it to a large corporation, they probably would. They'd probably buy it for very cheap. They'd flip it around as fast as they possibly could. They would drive down your costs. They would not focus on resident care and they would flip it for you. And we don't want to do that.
I have a few more, but I don't want to take time away from it.
I wanna follow up with, what branch of the state of Illinois were you with?
I worked with the IDPH. I was a state monitor, so I would come in and see the buildings when there was a concern. I had a supervisor of public health called my supervisor, and then I would be dispatched. And I usually worked the overnight shift, early morning shift, and I would go into buildings to assess like an abuse case, people who were out of compliance to make sure to help them get back in compliance.
How long you been gone from the state of Illinois?
Probably 10 years.
Okay, thank you.
However, we work with CMS across the country in these same situations, and I am a free state monitor for the state of Missouri.
And to piggyback what you were asking earlier about other offers, I just like to say that in Illinois, it's one of the states across the country that no one's looking to buy. Prices are all the way down, no one's buying them. It's not Florida. Florida, people all want to buy beds in Florida. Illinois homes are on the market and they're not being, and no one's purchasing them. The building in Lincolnshire, if you looked at it, it's a beautiful building. Nobody wanted it. No one will touch it. The reimbursements are low and the cost is high. Staffing cost is high. Everything's high here in Illinois. So, but we, like Jennifer said, specialize in that. We specialize in rural. We're good with rural. Morris is a great example.
Sure. Just a couple more. So as far as payrolls are concerned, I don't know if you know what we're paying our employees currently, if they're under a CBA contract. How do you feel about unions and what's your thought process with that?
And we both work with unions.
We both, yeah, have experience with unions.
We would, of course, like anything else, we would want to see the contract, we'd want to review it.
What, and maybe in proximity to a larger metropolitan area is different for payrolls, what they're concerned, but what do you on average pay CNAs? Do you know that?
I do know that, not off the top of my head, but it is whatever is the current average rate for Freeport.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not looking to decrease severely. We need staff because we want to increase the resident population at this community. We would rather have staff than agency. We'd rather have our own staff than agency. Having a high agency cost means that you have potential for lower resident care. Because agency staff don't seem to care as much as your own staff would.
100%. Last thing I'll say, and this is more just a comment. I've been on this board since 2016 and we have gone through a tremendous amount of administrators at the home. I think I speak for the entire board that we have probably the best administrator now that this home has ever had. We would like, if he's interested in staying, if the sale were to go through, we would like to have you retain him if at all possible.
We'd like.
An excellent job.
We'd like to, if you'd like to stay with us, we'd like you to stay there.
We believe in stability.
We do believe in stability. The administrator at Morris worked there since the beginning, since it opened up 18 years ago.
19 years.
Yeah, and she stayed with us.
Right, any further discussion before we take?
Nicole, I'd like to ask a couple questions.
Sure. Okay.
My name is Lynette Williams. I am on the county board, although I'm not on this committee. I am interested in knowing, I did a little research last night and found out that your Lincolnshire property is the taxes are assessed to Lincolnshire Properties LTD partnership. I'm just wondering who they are in relationship to Serenity, because I don't find any property in Lake County in the name of Serenity.
Yeah, so it would be Lincolnshire Nursing LLC.
Well, I've got Lincolnshire Properties LTD,
I can't speak to that.
paying the taxes in North.
Oh, that's the old operator.
That is the old operator. Okay, and I saw that at the Secretary of State's website that you guys had, there is probably your partnership papers in August of 24
For this
for
community,
that, for the Lincolnshire.
correct, because we took over Lincolnshire.
Right.
At that time.
Right. Let's go to the Grundy County property in Morris, Illinois. That's FNR Morris LLC.
Correct,
Is that the old owner?
yes,
Okay, so you don't actually, do you actually physically own the buildings?
we do.
You do. What do you hold them under if it's not the name of Serenity?
Morris Nursing LLC and Lincolnshire Nursing LLC.
Okay, the last question I have is, do you have any people who could speak to what you're saying as a verification?
Sure. It just depends on what I said that you would like.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted.
of course.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I would just add to that, at the county board meeting, because this, I believe, will move forward, it might be good to have some staff, maybe or some representative from each of those places, just to speak to these things as a backup. So just a suggestion.
I appreciate it.
So I appreciate you guys being willing to come forward and do this myself. I think this county home has been through a lot of ups and downs. I've been on the county board, I was on the county board back in 2006. This thing's a complete mess back then. And it's got better at times, but it's got worse at times. I think my biggest issue with the whole thing is this body changes every 2 years. And it's not an easy thing to run. And it makes it difficult to have new people come in here and try and manage that or oversee it as an ongoing process, because it took me a good 6 months, and I've read a lot of financial statements over the years, but it took me a good 6 months to understand exactly what was going on with the finances in this place. And it's been very difficult, the ability to bill accurately, using all the state mechanisms and all these managed care companies, and it's not getting any easier, and it's not gonna get any easier for this body to oversee it. So I'm all for this, 100%.
Okay. And I'll second that because there is other individuals in the room that are on the board that probably have questions as well. So they will be able to speak on Thursday as well. So
Wednesday.
or Wednesday, sorry, they're always Thursdays, but Thursday's a holiday, so, all right. Final, any other discussions? We're gonna take a vote. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Sorry, roll call vote, please.
Sure. Baker, aye, Mr. Whalen?
Aye.
Mr. Meester, Mr. Bush?
No.
Mr. Hadley?
No.
Great, it passes. It will go on to the on Wednesday. 9.0 approval of property broker and consulting services with the sale and transfer of Stephenson County Investment Center. So that. Motion to approve. Easy. Okay, so that failed.
If there's no motion to approve.
All right, 10.0 executive session, ILCCS 120-2. Litigation when an action against affecting or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administration tribunal, or when the public body finds something against it. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Mr. Whalen, do I have a second? And it's Cindy Stern. Any discussions? Thank you, Mr.
Stayed for too long, thank you.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
Gotta go. Let's jump in. Do you want to have back? We'll be in executive session for about 2 minutes.
Georgia, they and dogs.
Yes, no cell phone, right? No electronic devices.
Correct.
Perfect. Tim, can you see if there's any electronic devices back there?
I know, I'm just listening on you. Oh, yeah. If it's. That's great.